welcome back to the Pulse with Willie and Al. How's it going today, brother?
Hey, not too bad. Not too bad. It's overcast here again. It rained this weekend for what felt like the 18th straight weekend in a row. It's rained. Yeah, it's not hot. It's good. We're good.
It's been very, very hot here. So we actually just got back from our countrywide vacation. They have like a countrywide vacation called Bayram, and we go to the southern part of Turkey for that. And dude,
Mhm.
it's like turquoise waters. It's beautiful, man.
Woo!
It's one of the coolest places. So, but yeah, we are back again today and getting ready for that summer heat. So, we are bringing you episode 81, a big dumper home run. And
Sir.
that's where like before we jump into baseball, right? Just make sure you guys go ahead, you like the video, smash that subscribe button, and keep showing that support that we love. But let's dive into Major League Baseball. So it was kind of a lot of the same from last week when we spoke, but there's some new nuggets to discuss. And let's start with some great news, right? Your boy Big Dumper. Right now he's leading Major League Baseball with 26 home runs, which is just absolutely insane that a guy that's a catcher, first of all, is
Yeah.
leading the league and beating out guys like Judge and Otani in terms of home runs right now. So can we please just go ahead and like ink this guy for home run derby? I
Yeah, for
want to
real.
see fans all over the stands wearing Big Dumper t-shirts. Like that's what I
Yeah.
need for home run derby. So please get this guy there. Uh, how is he doing it? How's he figuring it out? Why is he playing for this awful team? Or it seems fairly awful. I mean, they're winning games, but you look at how they're winning games, and it's like this team shouldn't be winning these games. So
Yeah.
how are they doing it?
Well, it's funny, like for the last this now fourth year, he started playing in 2021. He played for like I think he played like 50 games. Didn't really do much. But then from 2022 on, like he's had at least 27 home runs each season. Like, and his career high last year was 34, and he's at 26 already before we're still like a month from the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're talking
And
about a
he's actually hit
catcher possibly hitting 60 home runs on a season.
his OPS right now is 1.014, which is just absolutely bonkers insane
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, no, he's an inspiration to all of us with fat asses out there. We fucking as somebody that has a fat ass, like I couldn't be prouder of the guy. I couldn't be prouder of him.
He is
Yeah,
just he's making big people everywhere feel comfortable. So
yeah.
good for
If this
him.
is the Sandlot, he'd be the great Hambino.
Yeah.
Like
uh, yeah, it's really fun to watch, and I've gone through. They actually have a video on YouTube of every home run that he's hit this year, so it's kind of awesome going through
oh
and
yeah,
seeing those. It was beautiful. But yeah, so and he's actually keeping Seattle, who the rest of them don't seem to be playing great baseball, but he's keeping them somewhat relevant out there in the West.
yeah. They're only 3 games back at Houston.
Which is wild.
They're trying to figure it out, man. It's if they could just get their pitching together, even somewhat, like they would be a much better team
Much better.
because they have the hitting. They don't have the pitching. So
And that's a really tough thing, don't we know that?
yeah,
All right.
we
So,
both we both root for teams that do not have the pitching this year.
oh
Yeah,
well, I'm convinced now. Part of the religion that the Atlanta Braves practice is not believing in bullpen or closing out games. That's part of it. So, uh,
you wanna talk about that Arizona game the other night where they were up 11-4 and blew it in the ninth?
no,
No,
even the one
no,
where we were up, what was it, 3-1 on the Giants in the bottom of the ninth, and decided like, oh no,
no.
no, no, we were up 1-0 in the bottom of the ninth, and decided like, feels so good. Let's,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
It's a
Our thing
nine,
is we just like to lose. Our thing is we just like to lose one-run games. That's it. That's what we
especially
love
in
to do.
extra innings.
Oh, do we ever?
By the way, there was like 6 games that went to extra innings last night. It was
Yeah.
wild, really,
Cora
really
got
cool.
threw out in extra innings last night.
Yeah, I mean that is when you know, that's when you know you're next level. I mean, it's
Yeah.
extra innings, right? Well, let's
Yeah.
let's stick with your Red Sox, right? Because you've got Garrett Crochet, I think that's right. Crochet.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean he seems to be doing real well for the Red Sox right now, but he's keeping you guys really competitive. I was just gonna say, like, is there a chance he gets popped before the trade deadline, or like, do you see your team trying to make some moves here? Like, what's gonna end up happening here?
I think they're going to trade fringe guys. Like they just gave Crochet a huge extension
Hmm.
before the season.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think what's funny is like he has an ERA of 2.35,
Hmm.
but he is getting the Paul Skeens treatment where like he's somehow lost 4 games, which is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the Sox, they're going to trade around the fringes. I think you're going to see guys like Chapman probably get dealt.
Hmm.
I think probably guys like Walker Bueller probably going to get dealt. Like there is talks of Jared Duran getting moved, which I would absolutely hate if that happened. But yeah, we're just not great right now. Um,
But you guys
we
are
don't know
making
how.
moves. You're making moves right now. I mean, you just called up Roman Anthony, and I mean, that's yeah, he didn't do great the other night, but like, uh, you know, I feel like that's a
Yeah,
big, big deal for you guys right now. Is calling him up.
the problem. I love that we finally called him up after the this weekend. He hit a 497-foot grand slam,
Yeah.
and that was finally where they're like, okay, enough.
Yeah.
Like, um, yeah, the problem with the Red Sox, and I know that I sound like a broken record, but like I got to watch it in person last week, and they don't play fundamental baseball. Like so
Yeah.
many times they have runners on first and second, no outs,
Hmm.
and they don't do the thing where they move the runners over. They don't like they like
It's playing strategic baseball, right? Like
yeah.
it's, I don't know. Sometimes you got to be a little unselfish with that, and understand ways to be able to move runners around. And if you're not doing that, if you're not getting them around the corners, what are you doing? It's
And they're not fielding well right now. They're such piss poor in the fielding department. They leave so many guys on base. Like every inning, they're leaving 1, 2 guys on base, and I just yeah, man. The game I went to last week, Cora in the post game presser said we're not getting any better, and I was like, well, he's not wrong.
that doesn't feel good.
No,
Which,
and
by the way,
since
I totally twisted that game in my head, as you know now. But like, I thought that you went the next night, and I was like, "What's he talking about? That seemed like an incredible game." Because the next
oh the
night,
day game, yeah,
yeah,
no, that day game was sick.
the next day, I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" They came back and they beat them. It was really really good, but
Yeah,
yeah, really tough, just tough.
but yeah, no, it's we took 2 or 3 from the Yankees, which you would think I would feel good about, but then like I don't know, man. Like there aren't really any moves for us to make. We've called up all of our guys
Hmm.
like in our farm system. Campbell started out hot, but has since regressed pretty hard. Like, and he's a rookie. Like,
Hmm.
I get a dude. The dude's hitting 232. Like, you know,
Kind of tough.
yeah, not much you can really do. And with Bregman, like, this lineup was humming when Bregman was playing, but Bregman's out till August. Like,
Do you think they're gonna move on from Bregman?
well, Bregman.
Because he was just a 1 year lease, right? Am I wrong in that,
Well,
or?
so it's a 3-year contract, but he has opt outs every year.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's basically
So
up to him to if he wants to stay or not. Um,
I have to imagine he's going to opt out though, because like Bregman's going to want to play for a contender and try to win another ring.
yeah,
Like it
can you
was,
blame
so it
him?
was down between him and Detroit in the offseason, and like he picked the Red Sox because the Red Sox offered more money. But like,
Look at Detroit now. Oh,
yeah, yeah,
oh
like
man. Just one thing I wanted to mention because we were just talking about call ups, and I know I had sent you a quick video on Instagram of Dominic Canzoni from Seattle. Did you see that?
yeah,
How special that was, like seeing that moment in AAA with, it was AAA, right? With Tacoma, I believe, and he was speaking with his coach, and his coach tells him like, listen, it's going to be your last time playing here and stuff, and he's like, why? He's like, pack your bags and head to Seattle. And I just thought that was such a cool thing. And then he shows up in Seattle the next night, and then ends up getting
yeah.
a home run. It's just, I mean, it's just, there's something romantic about baseball when you see that. Uh,
Yeah,
and just
it's
seeing him
so
get
beautiful.
swarmed after by the team, that they love him. It was just so cool to be able to see that, because those guys in the dugout know what that means for a young guy who's it's
Right.
his first time. So just a really cool thing.
Did you ever watch the movie The Rookie with Dennis Quaid?
Yeah, yeah, it
I
was
think about
very
that as like
touching.
the best call up scene ever when the
Yep.
manager's like, "Hey, can you tell Brooksy that he's going to the show?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you should tell him because you're going too." Like, and you're just like, "Oh," and it's such a beautiful moment, and like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so
And
good,
Dennis Quaid was
so
perfect in
good.
that role. He really was. It was just,
It's
man.
one of my favorite sports movies outside of Miracle.
Yeah, it's man, definitely is one of the good ones for sure. Moving on, we got some kind of sad news, right? With Arizona, the Arizona Diamondbacks with Corbin Burns. Uh
Yeah,
which is just that's a tough thing to see any pitcher go through, but I just the injury it seems like is I mean, they have him on the 60-day IL, but I have to believe it's going to be more than that. Uh
yeah, that's the 60-day IL is kind of that is the way of saying like, hey, you're done for the season.
okay. So
Yeah,
the only thing I was going to ask you about this, and this is because this division is kind of tight right now. Arizona's a little ways behind, but you've got San Francisco, who's kind of bridged the gap. They've finished, I think, the last 10 games they've been 7-3, where the Dodgers and the Padres have both, I think, split 5-5 over that time. And just curious, like, what do you think this means for Arizona, and is their season kind of not looking so good going forward now because of this, or what's your thoughts on it are?
I mean, Burns was pitching kind of well too. Like I know the record didn't say that, but like he was 3-2 with an ERA of 2.6, and like he just wasn't getting run support. Like, which was it's kind of been the thing with Arizona this year is they can't hit to save their lives, and they
Unless
have a
they're
good
playing
line.
Atlanta.
Yeah, 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 but like they just can't. They have a pretty loaded roster, and they just can't. They can't string it together. Um, And I think this really hurts them because they don't respectfully really have anybody in the minors they could kind of call up. Um, and that division's pretty tough. Like, I
But
mean,
it
maybe
this
they go on a run like they did 2023, where
mhm.
they, went to the World Series, but like they've got to figure that out quick or else they're gonna get passed by half that division. So
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to mention about that too is it doesn't seem like in the next few years as you look forward, and granted the Dodgers will have some sort of turnover. The Padres are still somewhat young. The
yeah,
Giants they've got a pretty good core together and stuff. I don't see those teams getting weaker. I mean, drastically weaker in the next few years. So it's going to be really like an uphill battle for Arizona to get back to the playoffs, playing out in the West
yeah.
there. Not as bad as the Rockies, but it's funny how, and I just wanted to touch on them real quick because it seems like the more you were floating this futility idea, they just went out and they swept the Marlins. So like,
Yeah, yeah. As we're recording this, they've now lost three straight again. So
yeah,
we're back. All
yeah,
right, let's not.
okay.
But
All
I
right.
saw that and I just I actually watched the game. So the game where they swept the Marlins was a day game,
Yeah.
and I just I work from home, so I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna throw this on for funsies, like because I weirdly like watching bad baseball, and Colorado fits that bill, and yeah, it it was just wild. It was wild, and I was like, huh, boy, the Marlins do really suck, huh, huh.
All these
Like,
teams are getting overshadowed by the Rockies, but there's quite a few bad teams, at least a handful of bad teams in Major League Baseball right now.
oh yeah, they have the second worst run differential. Like Colorado's lapping them by 100 runs, but like their run differential is -91. So like they're not great. They're already 17 games out in their division in
Yeah.
the NL East. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Rough.
sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Well,
Even the White Sox,
yeah,
have won, 4 of 10. Like,
respectable, respectable.
yeah. Like they have 22
Which
wins.
I'll tell you, if you average that, 4 out of 10 wins, right? You're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
All right, maybe it's
yeah,
batting, but
yeah. 6 and one, half dozen the other.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, talk about teams, and as we're talking about some of the teams that aren't doing well, two divisions in particular, which we kept saying at the beginning of the year, like a team legally has to win some of these divisions, but the AL and NL Central right now are two divisions with four teams over 500. And I mean,
Yeah,
this is going to get really interesting in the next couple weeks, next couple months, because there's going to be many head-to-head matchups in this division. That's hopefully going to thread through some of these teams a little bit more, so we kind of know, okay, what team's the real one here, which one's the believer, which one's trying to be a pretender, and which one doesn't exist, right? But very interesting to see the AL Central, and just a quick little shout out because today's a special day. Today's Big Ray's birthday.
oh man, that's right. I gotta text you happy.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Oh man.
yeah, it's his
Ooh.
birthday today. So his Tigers still the number one team in baseball. I know the Mets are closing in on them there, but still very impressive run they're putting together. And I think at this point it's safe to say like we should be expecting them in the postseason. But now they've got to position themselves for okay, how do we lock up that first seed? Right? Because that's going to be the challenge over the next few months is trying to figure that out. One thing I wanted to ask you about the Tigers with how good they are right now, because it seems like they're hitting on all cylinders. What is one area in particular that you think they need to address coming up towards the trade deadline here?
I that's tough. Like I think that like they could honestly their bullpen is still a little suspect. I think they could use some arms. Like
Okay.
I think that's really kind of been the one thing about them. I think that's one of the things that they could do is their bullpen could get a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty decent, but I think that like if they're gonna make a deep October run, you kind of need the arms. Um, and it seems like they kind of rely on the same three guys, and like that's fine, but like history kind of shows that like you do that, like you're kind of burning them out before the playoffs start. Look at Cleveland last year with Classy.
Well, and
Like,
this is the other thing too, and like I don't know, I'm reading the stats and trying to make sense out of all of them and stuff, but they're saying that like the whiff rate, swing and miss rate that those pitchers have against their opponents aren't great for Detroit's bullpen, so they're not striking out as many guys and stuff. But you're right, adding a couple arms could probably thicken up that bullpen quite a bit, give those guys some much more rest during that time and allow them to really close out games strong for Detroit without getting
yeah,
anyone tired or fatigued. Um, but yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see them over the next couple months. I'll be able to watch a few of their games this summer. That's going to be enjoyable. Do you see Cleveland, or I mean, even the Twins are ahead of Cleveland right now? Do you see them kind of making a push here and challenging them, or
I mean, in so much that like three teams are gonna have to win the wild card here. I don't know. Somebody's got to. The thing with Minnesota is like they're kind of doing this like with a bunch of dudes that like Byron Buxton's healthy right now. That's not going to stay that way. That dude always gets hurt. Like I don't really trust Minnesota. Cleveland, I kind of weirdly don't trust either, just because like Classie's been a mess this year.
hmm,
Like he has been a straight mess. Um, yeah, man. Like I guess you could tell me Seattle maybe, but like until Seattle figures out their starting pitching, like what are they? You know what I mean? Like it's just a bunch of really flawed teams. Like the two teams that are on top right now are Tampa and Toronto, and like respectfully, they're just playing a really easy schedule right now. Like that's all that is. Like
yeah. You know what's interesting
yeah,
too is even as we were talking about the same thing about Seattle at the beginning of the year that like okay they brought in these guys but they didn't address the pitching and that's going to be the issue. Like
yeah.
it's weird that it's the same thing now. What about in the NL Central? Because it seems like the
Uh,
Cubs are actually a legitimate team and I think could give a lot of teams some problems coming forward here for the way they've been playing recently.
I agree. Their starting pitching is not great, and that's what they really need to like hone in on.
Mhm.
They I can't remember the guy that they had. I think it was like a guy named their best pitcher. I can't remember off the top of my head. Had to have Tommy John surgery pretty early on. So like,
Right. Wasn't Steele,
uh,
was it?
yeah, oh yeah, Justin Steele.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
okay.
Yeah, no, like their bullpen's really good. Their rotation is not great though. Like that's if they're gonna shore up anything, it's got to be that because their lineup's great, bullpen's great. That's really the thing they got to work on. So
Yeah, hopefully they're able to right the ship on that, and obviously there's other teams in that division too that can make a push, but
Pete
Pittsburgh
Crow
and
Armstrong has been hilarious to watch. Like it's
yeah.
he's the Cubs' best player this year that nobody was prepared for, and it's great.
He seems to have really good energy and really ignite that clubhouse quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a weird dude, and
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
All right. Anything else you want to mention in baseball before we move forward here?
No, no, just the Red Sox doing Red Sox things. Your Braves just kind of doing Braves
I mean,
things.
dropping 12 out of 15 really gets a way to,
Yeah, it's
that's
a real good feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does not feel good like
No.
especially when your team starts doing things that they're not used to doing, right?
Yeah.
And as a fan, you're
Yeah.
not used to seeing. Very
Honestly,
difficult.
what I am afraid of is I'm gonna have to like look your Uncle Roger in the eyes and be like, he's gonna talk about how good his Yankees are, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, guy, come back and talk to me when you guys actually do something in October. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was some good signs yesterday.
Sure.
Chris Sale got a win. He struck out 8. I think 8, maybe
Yeah.
more. Look good though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And Chris Sale, like, usually if Chris Sale has a good season, the season after he gets hurt, and that really hasn't happened yet. So, like,
Yeah.
kudos to you. Like,
I'll tell you, if they don't get it figured out soon, and it's June 10th right now, if they don't get it figured out by the end of this month, it's going to be really difficult for them because the National League has some really good teams. So,
and well, especially the East this year is just kind of stat. The NL East is just kind of a monster division. Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, they're what? Like, they're 13 and a half back already.
yeah. It's brutal right now, dude. Listen, it's every day we're living with this. We get up, we look in the mirror, we know. It's not fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
Washington's better than you right now.
oh, shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. We just ended a 7-game losing streak. Give me something. Give me
Yeah,
something, right?
because you're better than the you're 3.5 games better than the
I
Marlins.
appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. But we didn't get swept by Colorado, so there's
No,
that.
no, you didn't. So that's things you get to look forward to. So
Yeah.
if it's any consolation, we're 4 games out of last place. Like Baltimore's lurking. So they've won 7 of 10. So where it's coming where we're gonna finish in last place. I'm ready.
Oh man. That's
I'm ready.
awful. Awful.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the NFL. So still kind of some fresh news that we had from last week. I think it happened the week prior, but I didn't really want to bring it up last week because I wanted to kind of see how things were going to settle. There's been a lot of information out on it, but Jim Irsay passed away. Just a Colts icon, really, an NFL owner icon, and someone who really paved the way for many of the changes that the NFL has experienced. Just a man whose personal life was filled with a lot of challenges and struggles with addiction, but his
Yeah.
professional life was filled with just absolute accolades. Like it just, I mean, he has he has them hanging all over. The stuff that he collected as part of
Yeah.
his collection, it is
Just
in
bonkers.
yeah, it's bonkers some of the stuff that he has in there. But if you talk to former employees that he had, former players, they all speak very highly of this guy and what he was able to do, not only for them but for the NFL. And it may never be replicated what he was able to do. But he made a team from a small market appear quite big, and that's no easy feat. I mean, Indianapolis, yeah, okay, I know the Pacers are in the finals right now, but the Colts, before Peyton Manning got there, were not a great football team.
Yeah.
And some of the changes that they made after that were a really big deal. One of the things that I really liked that he did with Chris Ballard there was they were drafting players that were college graduates people that you knew could come in and understand. They were cerebral players that not only were very physically gifted, but I think at one point they had like 88% of their team were college graduates. And that's something that's super important. Like having a good
Yeah,
understanding and maturity and being able to see that in players was really, really good. But I'm certain the Colts are going to do some sort of commemoration for him this year. Maybe
sure.
decal on the helmet, something like that. But hopefully they have a ceremony at the beginning. But I think probably the best news that came out of this is, obviously he's no longer struggling with addiction, which is a very good thing. But he's survived by his three daughters, who are now deeply invested in the team, in the
Yeah,
organization. And I think they will represent the values of their family and the Colts organization very, very well. So I'm really looking forward to like the passing of the torch, seeing what the daughters are able to do, and the impact they're going to have on the NFL, because I think it's a very inspiring thing for many people. Um, girls hoping that they could, or women hoping that they could own an NFL team. I think it's really the eyes are going to be fixated on these girls and what they do. But just
sure.
any thoughts you wanted to share on him at all?
Yeah. The I think you said it best. The man struggled with addiction. Like that is there is no like it's kind of the first thing that you kind of remember about Jim Irsay. And like I will say this about him, like he at least was honest about his struggles with addiction. Like that's I think we've all have friends in our lives that like struggle with addiction in some way, shape, or form. And like that's really difficult. That's really hard. And on top of that, you're a public figure and you are under a microscope. Like that's it sucks that it ended the way it did for him. And like, I'm sure that those issues played a part in his death. Like he was pretty young, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so
He
just I don't know.
looked well aged, and so I don't
Yeah,
think it impacted him the way I think he was thinking it might. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
But
just yeah,
gotta
go.
take care of yourself. Like that's long and short of it.
You definitely have to. I feel like
Yeah.
every time I read something about him, it's always something new too. Like, oh yeah, he was a professional bodybuilder for a while, or maybe it wasn't professional, but he was a bodybuilder for a while. Obviously being an owner, he was a billionaire. But like, you
Right.
always find out something new about him that's like, I didn't know that. And it just,
Yeah.
I think he came under a lot of scrutiny with the Jonathan Taylor contract, with how that kind of played out. But if you listen to former players, like guys from like Marvin Harrison's time, Reggie Wayne's time, like even I don't know if you heard that spiel that Reggie Wayne gave about him, but basically to the players, like you don't realize what this guy meant to us as players. Like I was ready to go. I was going to be with the Patriots or with somebody else, which I know that teases you big time because he was a good player. But Jim Irsay said, "Don't you dare get on that plane. Like let's figure this out." He called him up and said, "Listen, we are going to work this out. Let's figure this out. Let's get a number and get this figured out because I don't want you going somewhere else." So I think like he's a guy that shows that personal side that he really cares. Super charismatic too. Like when you think back, just really, really cool. Um,
Yeah.
but he will be missed and hopefully well remembered for the good stuff that he was able to bring to the city of Indianapolis. Just big time.
Right.
Now, and I know Pat McAfee's going to talk about him too because, well, he already has, but like he's a guy that kind of lives and breathes through guys like Pat McAfee who have the microphone in front of them where like his legacy can continue on. So,
Yeah.
kind of weird way to transition on this one, but Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers. Uh, I'll let you go first on this.
I think you and I are going to echo the same things here. Like, you held this team hostage long enough. Like, it's put up or shut up time. Like, man, like if Mike Tomlin can't get the most out of him, I don't like what I don't know what's left. Because like Mike Tomlin had a winning record last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Like, let that sit in for a minute. Like, and Aaron Rodgers allegedly has more talent. Like the dude threw for almost 4,000 yards last year, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks, but it was just he doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to get hit.
I can't
Like
I
that's
can't blame him, right? Like he's old now.
sure. But like when your thing is like that you kind of extend plays and like that's always kind of been your bread and butter and he doesn't do that anymore.
No.
And like so he's just kind of getting the ball out real quick and I this is probably the best situation he could probably be in with coaching. Like hopefully he listens to Tomlin because like Tomlin won't put up with his shit.
No.
Tomlin won't because like if the organization has to choose between Rodgers and Tomlin, they will choose Tomlin.
Wouldn't you?
I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. Like,
And he's never had a losing season.
no.
So I got a few different ideas on this. The first is like, this is the second time now that he's gone to a team that was just a quarterback away.
Yeah.
So like last time it didn't work out so well, and I realized that wasn't fully on him, but like kind of was a big chunk of it, right? Uh, my my take is like now you got your time off, you got your money. What are you gonna do to get this team over the hump? And I don't know. Hopefully Tomlin can get it out of him, but I almost feel like I would have cheered more for the Steelers this year, or would cheer more for them if Kirk Cousins was there instead. Just because he's not doing any of this, like not being a distraction, not doing any of that stuff. I don't know.
Kirk Huckins is getting you 10 wins. Like, Kirk Huckins is getting you 10.
But
Like,
but like, and he's not gonna cause a distraction, man. He's not gonna do that.
yeah.
It just
That's the thing. Like, is like,
we can be upset at the guy for not getting it done in the playoffs and that stuff. I get that, but like guys like Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, they're I don't know. With that, I really feel like those guys are good locker room guys that will help get you wins, right? And it
well,
just
the thing is like, he's coming into a locker room with the Steelers where, like, they're not going to put up with that.
Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, Minka
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick. You think they're not going to
Yeah.
take a shot at him if he's getting a little chippy at
Yeah.
practice? I mean, it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was like, you want to stand up to Cam Hayward, go for it. But like, I don't think that's going to end as well as you think that's going to end. Like,
By the way, and I don't want to segue on this, but I just want to say like DK Metcalf being a Steeler is like the perfect personality fit for him.
oh yeah,
It really
dude
is.
likes to fight. Dude likes to fight
He
people.
loves it,
Like,
and he loves eating
yeah,
candy.
yeah,
I don't know with a
yeah.
body like that how he eats any candy, but all right.
It's honestly they replaced Pickens with Metcalf, and they just kind of replaced crazy with more crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, except the difference is like DK Metcalf is yoked, and like is a guy that like if you put all the wide receivers in a ring and they're fighting each other, Metcalf's winning that hands down.
Yeah, even 2v1s he's winning. Right?
Oh
Right.
yeah,
It just
yeah,
I don't know. So one other thing that I wanted to say, and this is kind of a trend that I've noticed, and it's going to pain me to say this because I look at some of like the best quarterbacks during our generation as they got older, right? Like Peyton was obviously my favorite, but watching him go through and age was kind of painful at times. Like even winning that Super Bowl with Denver, he didn't wow people with what he was able to do. It was just okay, like yeah, he's game managing at that point. He made a few plays that he had to make, but really just game managing. Like
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, I felt the same way about. Like used to be really good, and I wasn't even sold that he was the unbelievable, the magic man. No, I wasn't sold on any of that stuff. I don't know. That's Stephen A's stuff, right? Like I just I didn't buy into that. But as I looked at Brady in his career, it's like it almost happened in reverse. Like
Yeah, he Benjamin buttoned that.
yeah,
Yeah.
he ended up getting very much in shape. Very and like most guys, their body gets weaker as they get older, and they gain that cerebral part of understanding the game and it slowing down. Brady's body got better, and his mind got better, and it grew
Yeah.
together in unison. And I think that's why he was able to have kind of the reign on the NFL that he did with that. But
I think that's also though with Brady. I think Brady has given us this unrealistic expectation of quarterbacks that are like 38, 39, 40.
yeah, in
Like,
addition to that, also not taking all of the money. Right?
yeah,
Like and Aaron Rodgers kind of did that here. What did he's getting 13 million, something like that, with incentives up to 19, which is
yeah.
very cheap compared to some of the other quarterbacks when you had like Daniel Jones making 40 last year. Right? Like, I don't know. I know he's giving them a discount and stuff, but I hope they're not getting like a rookie quarterback in there, because there's a guy in there that and this is what I don't like, is that there's a guy in there from Ohio State that's a
Well,
rookie
Howard. Yeah.
that is he's coming in and he's shown up since day one and worked his butt off to try to earn that spot. And Aaron Rodgers just kind of had this like limbo thing, and it's like, how do you go to work each day and keep that fire burning when you don't know whether you're going to get a shot or not? And
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't hurt him because of that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I don't want to give him any more press, right? Damn it.
I was like, all right.
Kind of a nice signing that we had. We had Nick Chubb signed with the Texans, which I thought was awesome. But did you see what the Browns did for him?
I did. I think that was really the
Super
Browns aren't
classy.
typically a classy franchise, but good on them.
Yeah, super classy. And a guy that like struck fear into many, many people, and but was not a talker, but just a worker. And injuries unfortunately cut his career short in Cleveland. You know, 2 years ago, what was it, week 2 with his ACL, and then last year he ends
Yeah.
up breaking his ankle or his foot. It just really tough. But now he moves into a backfield where he's going to have running back by committee with Joe Mixon there, and I think that they form just a lethal combo there, the two of them. Uh,
Yeah.
it just, and I mean, if you look at most teams in the league now, the Saquon Barkleys, the Derrick Henrys, the even Christian McCaffrey last year when he was out, you saw what Jordan Mason did when he was filling in. Like those, most teams
You,
are moving away from the lone running backs and into.
yeah, you need at least 2 to get through the season.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, look at what Detroit does with 2 running backs.
I
Like
know.
yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Also, so I think that really bodes well for them this year, and they're going to need it in that division because they've got Jacksonville that's chomping at the bit to try to prove something. Indy, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Tennessee, they're trying to prove something too.
Oh, see, I see. This is where I disagree with you. I think the AFC South is going to be putrid this year.
Oh,
Like, I
really?
think Houston's going to win that division going away.
You think Houston will?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Like
they should, but I don't know.
yeah, like
I
possible
still think
elimination.
Jacksonville, they could be there, man. They could. They made some moves in the offseason. They finally got rid of some of the guys that weren't helping them, which I
They
really
make moves every
supported.
offseason
Yeah, I know.
now.
Yeah,
Like,
you're kind of right.
and just remember, they have a guy coaching that did the Duval.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's all I'm
uh,
gonna say.
Another one of my, and I don't know. It's not the Packers players that I dislike, but it must be at least in this segment, right? Jair Alexander, he gets cut by the Packers, and listen, big name to get cut, but I'm not sure it's going to affect Green Bay that much because he rarely played after getting paid. Rarely played.
Yeah.
He spent a
And
lot of time talking and very little time on the field.
and when he did play though, like he kind of was getting torched.
Yeah,
Like
he didn't have the best. I don't know. It's funny. You want to
he
talk?
kind of reminds me of Jalen Ramsey. Like Jalen Ramsey after he got paid, like same thing. Like always kind of got hurt, and when he was on the field, he kind of was like talking shit and getting torched.
Yeah.
Like
So like this is the thing that pissed me off about Alexander was they had one game against Minnesota towards the end of the year, not last season, but the season prior, where he kind of shut
know
down
where you're
Justin
going with
Jefferson, and then he took full credit for that. Like, oh, this
it.
is all we did. We shut this guy down. And then you look at what happened last year, and Justin Jefferson just was really good again, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Like it just for me, I I didn't see I didn't see enough out of him for an extended period of time to be like, all right, this guy can do it. When I look at a guy that's younger, like Patrick Surtain, who comes in, just yeah, he can talk sometimes, but like he works, right? He
yeah,
works. That's what you look at what he's able to do, and granted, he learned from one of the best and his dad, but like he's a lockdown corner. He shuts people down, and he does it against the best competition too. And you don't hear him out there saying like, look at me, right?
right.
It just I don't know. I feel like there's a better way to go about it, but maybe he ends up somewhere. I hope he doesn't end up in Cincinnati, but they need a corner, so maybe they get him at a discounted rate. that's basically why he got cut, because he thought he deserved more money, and Green Bay was like, we don't. Um,
Yeah,
but he could end up with the Rams, maybe in
sure.
LA. Maybe Devontae's whispering in McVay's ear, like, "Hey, listen, bring this guy in. He can help us." Who knows? Um, but uh, and I don't want anything bad for the guy. Hopefully, he lands on his feet, but we'll see. Aging corners in this league uh, don't always have jobs, so
They do not. Nope.
especially ones that can't stay healthy. But Jermaine Pratt, he got cut by the Bengals. And this guy, like, you may be looking at him being like, I don't know who he is, because I didn't really know the name that well. But I do remember this play, because he was famous for the interception against the Raiders a couple years back, which sealed Cincinnati's first playoff victory in, I think it was 31 years.
Oh, that. Oh, he was the. Okay, he was
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's like one of those things you kind of understand. Maybe you don't know him, but he did lead the
Yeah.
team in tackles last year. But the defense, let's be serious, they were god awful. And it wasn't just Lou Anarumo moving on from him. Jeez, I butchered that.
Yeah, I was like, hey, where's that? Hey, can you remind me where that guy ended up as a D coordinator?
Yeah, Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I just think for Pratt in general, like the writing was on the wall when Cincinnati drafted those two linebackers, and
Yeah.
they're looking to kind of put their mark on this season, bring in their guys, some new guys, some fresh blood, and really turn things around. And I think, at least in my mind, what Cincinnati's trying to do is similar to what the Rams did, with drafting some new young players and stuff, trying to bring them in, learn them real quick, and then get them up to speed, and then see what they're able to do. But um yeah, we'll see. But moving on, I know there's some things might have gotten lost within the past few weeks, because we were focusing more on baseball than football. But Rashad Bateman signed a 3-year extension, and at first I thought to myself, like, bad move by the Ravens. But I started to look into some of the statistics on it and stuff. Like, yeah, he didn't get 1,000 yards, and that was kind of my barometer for, like, oh yeah, this is a bad move. But he scored 9 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, and like, he was their most reliable deep threat for the league's top offense. I mean, you're gonna sign a guy like that. They didn't pay him Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase numbers, but he doesn't deserve that, right?
20 million guaranteed, 3 years, 36.75 million. Like,
It's a good
that's
deal.
not terrible.
Yeah.
Like, for a number two receiver,
And
to be honest with you, you could be doing a heck of a lot worse.
yeah, and
Like,
this team, don't forget, they're running back. I think they also, obviously, they got Zay Flowers there, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely as well. They could move on from Mark Andrews, but we don't know yet. But DeAndre Hopkins is there too, still, I believe.
oh yeah, I forget. DeAndre Hopkins has moved around to so many teams.
Yeah,
Like, I just kind of forget where he is
yeah.
until somebody mentions it. Then I'm like, oh yeah,
It was kind of strange, because I was like, oh, he's definitely with the Chiefs. And I read that, and I was like, this has to be an error. But he's
he
not.
was with the Chiefs.
Yeah, he was. But not anymore. So, um, uh, Derek Carr, did we mention him
I think we did,
in
but
passing? But
because yeah, Captain Checkdown, you will be missed.
yeah, I wanted to
Uh,
say about him, like, just kudos to him. Like, he does things the way a gentleman should do things. I really
sure.
feel that way. We may not like him as a player and stuff like that. I didn't really dislike him that much, but I I didn't dislike him at all. I really wanted to see him do well, and I felt like the year he broke his leg, they would have been the number one seed in the playoffs, and it was sad to see that happen. But instead of what he said with the retiring is that, like, his shoulder didn't respond after the surgery and the rehab and stuff, and he said it's not fair for me to take New Orleans money. And
Yeah.
I just, that kind of blew my mind, man, hearing that, because I don't know many people that could walk away from something like that. But he said, listen, I got enough. Like, let them keep it. Let them go on and be able to build the team here. And
Yeah.
I don't know. With him, I got a ton of respect for him. I really do. He may not
Yeah.
have been,
And New Orleans was in salary cap hell, so like that
yeah,
30 million helps a lot.
it
Like,
does. He may not have been the best player to pick up a football, but I'll tell you what, he definitely was a very well respected player in the locker rooms that he was in, and it just the league will miss him. They definitely will.
I agree.
he did things the right way, and it kind of felt like he was partially old school the way it was. Maybe it was his brother and his parents the way they brought him up, but really, I'll miss seeing him in the league. I felt like when he went out there, he gave the team a chance to win each week, uh, especially when he was checking down to Alvin Kamara. So Alvin Kamara gets 13 catches per 13 catches a game. Kind of funny. Teron Armstead. So he retired as well. We failed to mention him previously, but he was a stalwart offensive tackle for not only the Dolphins, but the Saints as well. And was a big reason that both of those teams had success. But one thing I wanted to mention to you about this, Al, that's kind of interesting is he's starting his own podcast, which sounds kind of interesting because he talked a little bit in just a preview about playing through pain, and like he would play on Sunday and he was hopped up on so many pain meds that he needed help walking and couldn't really walk on his own until Wednesday or Thursday of the week. And it
Yeah.
just it's a sad reality that kind of exists in the league that not a lot of people know about, and I feel like he's going to give an interesting perspective on that, and be able to share kind of his story. So shout out to him. He's going to be starting that, I believe, in 9 days, something like that. He's rolling it off. But definitely gonna he's gonna be missed with Miami because he was a player that was just I don't know if you saw many pictures of him. That guy is a physical freak, man.
Yeah. As a
Yeah,
monster.
yeah, he really is. In a day where offensive tackles aren't fat but they're fit, he fit the bill for that. So
Yeah.
really really cool. But anything else you wanted to mention in the NFL?
No, it's June. Minicamp, training camp's gonna start in like about a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know who the Hard Knocks team's gonna be this year yet. I hope they do it because I do love Hard Knocks. Like it's my favorite, one of my favorite things to watch to get me really fucking hyped for football season.
Yeah,
Fantasy football around the corner. Um,
it
Still
is.
waiting on a certain book from a certain uncle of yours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be
So
hitting the printing press soon. We're hoping.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we're definitely excited for it. And I know we're part of with training camp coming and all this, we're going to start our previews for NFL teams, which is going to be fun. So we get to dive in, break down some of the offseason moves in case you weren't around or you missed it or anything like that. We're going to get you right caught up with each team, let you
yeah.
know what's going on. Guys that are kind of on the bubble may be cut, may be traded, any of that stuff, we'll be able to cover that for you. But uh we will be back next week, right?
Sure.
Give us some more baseball news
Yeah.
and hopefully Big Dumper keeps it
Yeah.
going, right? We
No,
want it.
next week is my last week as a man in my 30s. So we
Yeah,
can
geez, a
we can
lot of
pour
good
we can
birthdays in June.
yeah, we can pour one out, and yeah.
I just want to mention too, Mr. Eighth Place, his birthday I believe falls in June too.
Yeah, no, his birthday's coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe throw him a little one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'll tell him how much he sucks.
He
And
did
he's a dog.
remind you. He did remind you, by the way, that he beat you during the season.
He
But
did, and then I pleasantly reminded him that I in fact won the championship.
yeah,
So
yeah. Which matters more,
so
right? Having the belt and the
yeah.
crown matters a lot more.
Yeah.
So,
Who got cash at the end of the season, John? Me or you?
wow, that is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Until next week. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up for today. But bro, thank
All
you
right.
so much. And
Yeah.
yeah, I love you, bro.
I
Peace.
love you too. Peace.